Hello and welcome to another episode of Frogs Hello TV. My name's Toby Cooper and joining me once again tonight is Geordie Batchelor. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well, Tobe. She's starting to freshen up now, Warrior.
You're not wrong there, mate, 100%. Again, we have another action-packed show tonight with full reviews of the LRC Opener at Pooncarie, the Dalby Short Course, and we'll also touch on round one of the Tasmanian AORI Championship. Before we start tonight, Jord, I'd again like to thank our incredible Frogs Hello TV partners and contributors who have made season 2026 possible, with episode 5 set to be another cracker across the board. So straight into it, Jord. Last weekend saw the running of the 2026 Pooncarie Desert Dash, hosted by the Sunraysia Motorsports Club, round 1 of the AORC, round 2 of the New South Wales Offroad Championship. And for the third consecutive year, it was Dale Martin who reigned supreme. He was simply just too good in the end, mate. Yeah, another brilliant Martin story.
It was a great weekend from Martin, wasn't it? He was flawless all weekend, really, and he looked in control at all times.
Yep, took that early advantage. He's alluded to a number of times over the weekend. His first basically time in control of a race, finishing on top in the qualifying, just over Toddy Lehman and Boston Morgan, but he knew how important that was with that solid dust. But he did talk in the chat that I had with him on Frogs Hello TV a couple of nights ago that the minute gaps that the club put in and out of Parc Ferme on Sunday really opened up the field and let everyone have a fair dust-free gap, which was great in the safest aspect because that dust looked pretty serious.
Yeah, it looked pretty thick, didn't it?
It's pretty wild in places. But yeah, it was a huge win for Dale Martin. We all know his father Craig is a 4-time ORC champion from the 80s. I think 1989 was the last time he took home the ORC gong. It was Martin's first time ever leading from start to finish, as we alluded to, and against a field like that, it was just super impressive. And for me, Jord, I think he's a huge chance for Fink in a couple of months.
Mate, I think he's every chance of winning that race up in Fink in June.
I really do.
Mate,
I think it's going to be hard to go past the likes of Travis, Bo, Boston. In the buggy world, he's going to be right up there. They're definitely hanging on that sort of top 5 or 6, I reckon, going into it. And saw him do it last weekend at Pooncarie. There was literally, well, you could say 25, 30 competitors that could have won that event.
Easily, mate.
To win it 3 in a row, you could just see how much it meant to him. And, I mean, he's a very humble champion. And, we wish Martin Motorsports all the best for the rest of the season. Congratulations to podium getters Toddy Lehman, second outright, and his great run continues. Jord, what a quick turnaround it's been for him. I know he had the Brenthal, he had a few teething issues with it over the years, and he's now stepped up into one of the best pro buggies in the country for sure, the twin-turbo Jimco. And what do you take on Toddy Lehman? He looked super quick again.
He looked quick as well, mate. As I said, only 58 seconds from the lead itself, but you know, that over however many kilometres, 400 Ks over the weekend, that's a pretty good effort, isn't it?
And he sets his year up nicely. I think it's his first time to Fink coming up.
Well, there's another that can, there's no reason he can't stand on the podium at Fink either, mate.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really up there knocking on the door. And we like Toddy Lehman on the show. He's one of our favourites, and he's done some big things the last few years, like we said. And after that, he set some quick times at Millicent last year. He had a pretty dominant win at Waikerie. We saw how tough that was in July last winter. And I think he'll carry a lot of momentum. He's had a couple of good runs at Loveday over the years as well. So keep a close eye on Toddy Lehman. But one of the storylines of the weekend for me was Toby Waitley in the V8 Rush Truck. Sensational. Third outright. We've seen Toby over the years in his Can-Ams. I think he comes second to Shannon Wrench in 2018 in ORC. That was when he had the X3. So he was blinding quick in that. But finally, Toby Waitley seems like he's got this truck. I know they've done a lot of work over the last 5 or 6 months on the Rush Truck, and he's a formidable force now, and he's proven that last weekend.
Yeah, bloody oath he is, mate. Like he was definitely on the pace all weekend. Like he wasn't far from being up in there all weekend, and just fell his way that he came into third. But hats off to him. He's finally got a good run under his belt.
And he definitely seemed to get quicker as the weekend went as well. But I think he was only about 1.25 minutes behind Toddy Lehman. I think there was a bit of confusion there with the times, with the section and the overall times heading into that final lap. I know he pushed pretty hard on that final 105 Ks. But come up third place, and I'm sure if you gave that to him and his family at the start of the weekend, he would have took it
any day of the week.
Yeah, another one of our favourites on the show, Toby Waitley. But hats off to you, mate. And we wish you and the team all the best at Fink. 2012 ORC champion Matty Hansen survived the challenging Pooncarie layout to finish in 4th, 5 minutes off the pace of Waitley. I did see on his Start Me Up Racing Facebook and Instagram pages that he had small and big issues over the weekend. Not exactly sure of the whereabouts of them and how major they were, but he's obviously had some dramas along the way. But going off that, it was a good result for Hanson and Nigel Penderbury. And off his win at the King of the Dunes, I know he's not going to Fink Desert Race. I think he's putting those days behind him at the moment while he's got the buggy. But yeah, Hanson, was another good run for him.
A great run for him, and as you just said, like after his win at the King of the Dunes, he hasn't had much luck.
That's right.
After that win in previous years, but to finish third in class and fourth outright in an AORC, like you can't get.
And it looks like with a few issues as well. So
that's right, mate. Like, you know, without a faultless run, I think he could have pushed up into that top three, but he's obviously had a few issues.
But Jord, what about the run from 16-year-old Kalgoorlie side-by-side gun Logan Gill? Extraordinary. He's started off with a bang in the prologue.
Yep.
He had Lachlan Bailey, last year's side-by-side champion, there right in the mix. Lachlan Waters, we've seen what he's done over the last 18 months, 2 years. Glenn Ackroyd, arguably the quickest side-by-side competitor in the country. And Logan Gill goes fifth outright with a minute victory in the side-by-side class over Lachlan Bailey. What an achievement.
Mate, what a run from him. It's, he's definitely got no fear, I will give him that. Yeah. But geez, he knows how to pedal that little side-by-side, doesn't he?
You see some of the drone footage in offroadracing.com.au live stream over the weekend down there. And it was top notch. He was just holding it flat. And like Toddy Lehman and even Dale Martin, the champion, alluded to in their press conference after the event with ORC, it was bloody brutal out there, to say the least.
Yeah,
it's top notch. And I mean, he goes into Fink without a doubt. I mean, as one of the favourites. And then he's got the hometown Kalgoorlie Desert Race in October. So if he can get a really good result at Fink and then finish at Loveday, he's going to carry a lot of momentum into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would not write him off to win the side-by-side championship.
I know,
he's it's early days, but
I know he's got a lot of support from his father, Royce, who's been around for a number of years now in the side-by-side world. And shout out to the girls. And hopefully we'll get young Logan on the show very soon. He crossed 2.5 minutes ahead of Lachlan Bailey, another super impressive performance from Lachlan Bailey. He finished sixth outright and he just got home in front of his dad, Royden, in seventh in the element. And Toowoomba's Lachlan Waters went down to Pooncarie and finished in third. I think he was ninth outright, but hats off to him. Another superb performance from Lachlan Waters.
Great
and
result,
he puts his name in the light for the rest of the season. I know he's looking forward to heading up to Fink for the first time as well. So keep an eye on young Waters and Glenn Ackroyd. Now, I know he didn't have the cleanest of runs on Saturday, I believe, in that opening lap. Put him down a little bit, but he just maintained consistency. He knows you've got to get the end of the race at each of the four. We've seen that publicised a number of times over the last few months with the 4-round championship. You just got to finish, end of story.
Yep.
And he took a lot of points into the New South Wales championship as well after his good run at Watittra. I don't think he's going to Colo Park, but he'll be... I'm sure he'll be Milberdale, Warriata and maybe Nabiac. But other class winners down there, Jord. Alan Dixon took home Pro Light honours. Adrian Gardner from down there in South Australia won the Sports Light category in his Honey Badger. It's good to see Michael Shipton have a winning Performance Tour drive. I think he had some wheel stud issues.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of a drama, but he held on there in the end.
Didn't quite get around, but took home the gong. Side-by-side sport, Tasmanian Johnny White came up and reigned supreme there. And Hank Parker, what a run for him. I think that's his third Pooncarie win in a row in production 4-wheel drive, and he just keeps on battling on. I saw he was one of the final cars to come across on the live stream, and he just never misses a beat. A bit of black smoke in the morning, and off he goes. Loves it. Absolutely loves it. And Hayden Bentley, he battled all weekend as well to finish in 10th. Another consistent run for him. I think he's got the new truck coming in very soon, so watch the space there. I think Sam's getting a Monk Fab machine as well, a Pro buggy. But Hayden would have been happy with that, and you can't discount results like that. Like someone that finishes 10th at round 1, if they have another sort of top 10 finish at Fink, finish at Lovedale, they're going to be in contention for the ORC title. We know how experienced Hayden Bentley is, multiple time Fink champion, and can't rule him out in season 2026. The weekend also claimed some big name casualties, Jord, with Bo Robinson, Boston Morgan Horan, Greg and Ben Gartner, Brent Martin, Johnny Towers, Brett Comiskey, Brent Smoothie, Kai Camilleri, Michael Zacher, Ben Falk and Tanner James all succumbing to the mechanical world with issues at Pooncarie. A few interesting ones. I think Bo went out early with dust issues in the engine. Likewise, Kai Camilleri pulled out overnight. Johnny Towers did an engine. I think Comiskey likewise. I think Smoothie had converter dramas. Zacher did an engine. Boston Morgan Horan with, I think he had
wheel stud
issues, lost the wheel. So shame for him. I know Greg Gartner had engine issues. Brent Martin power steering, then his Navigator had a bit of a hit, and we're wishing him all the best in his recovery from a back injury. But overall, George, a top weekend down at Pooncarie.
Great weekend down there, Tobe. The club ran a great weekend, and what a way to open the Australian off-road season.
Yes, ORC is finally underway. Some interesting news from post Pooncarie, mate. I saw this morning actually that young Kiwi sensation Boston Morgan Horan has his Geyser trophy truck for sale. Hopefully we don't lose him from the sport, but I did reach out to him and he mentioned that he was just going to have a bit of a step away for a while, but I'm sure he'll be back. He is undoubtedly one of the best competitors we've seen for a long time. He's been battling at the top for the last few years, a couple of big wins, and I know you watched that FWR clip a number of times over the last couple of days.
I watched that thing probably 10, 15 times, I reckon, mate. But, as you just said, hopefully he does not walk away from the sport altogether because, mate, he's an incredible talent to watch, that bloke. And he's only young too.
He is.
But if he does sell that truck, hopefully whoever buys it does it justice because, I don't know, you're going to be doing well to pedal that thing like he does.
Yeah, hats off to him and we wish him all the best coming up. All eyes are now on the big one, Jord, for ORC competitors. The 50th edition of the Tatsfink Desert Race held over the June long weekend, and we'll bring you more from that race in the coming weeks. Now on to last weekend's PDS Dalby Short Course, hosted by the Gympie Auto Sports Club. Round 2 of the Queensland ARB Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship. And Jord, it was yet another great weekend for Zach Marsh, claiming his second outright podium this year and 6th outright victory across Queensland in the last 4 years. What a run he's on, mate.
What a run he is on, Tobe, mate. He's unreal at the moment. And he get second outright at Gundy at the start of the year, and then he's just won this one, mate. He's having
a powerhouse, isn't he?
Oh, mate.
I spoke to him a bit over Gundy, and it's where he wants to be. He said, I don't put all the preparation, the finances, the time. He wants to win races, and that's what it's all about. And the big one for him this year is the Fink. He wants to go up there and take number one in the side-by-side. And, I mean, he's got to be right up there. He's proven it, but he just keeps pumping out these results at Queensland level, and it's super impressive. And I think he will be right there. I mean, it's exciting. Just the side-by-side rivalry and battle, I think's going to be one to watch.
It'll be unreal to watch that side-by-side one. There's going to be some good battles in amongst that.
Yeah, definitely. And Zach Marsh is going to be right at the top of the tree. The podium positions were filled by fellow Class 6 chargers Nick Pye and Conroy Devine, who were separated by just 20 seconds. After the 9 laps out there at Warringah, which is Paddy Phillips' property, they finished in 2nd and 3rd respectively. Shout out to Nick Pye. I know he's a newcomer to off-road world. I think he's only sort of done 4 or 5 races. Had a good result down at Hillston, started at the Gundy 250, now 2nd at Dalby. Seems like a great bloke, and it's always exciting to see new faces, new families, new crews in the sport of off-road racing, Jordan. That's how it's going to evolve over the years.
It is, mate. It's great to see him.
Yeah, he's a massive fan already of Frogs Hollow TV. Got a bit of merch off us last week, and all the best to Nick Pye as he heads in the middle part of the season. Conroy Devine, we've seen what he's done so far in 2026. I do believe he had computer issues. I think he's still battling them as we speak. I don't think he's going to be able to make Burdekin next weekend, but he also broke a rear sway bar, so I got a bit loose at times out there for him. But he held on to that 3rd spot in the GRC Motorsport Maverick R, and he's another powerhouse. And he didn't get an entry in for Think this year, so he won't be heading up there, but he'll be looking to head into the rest of the ARB Australian Championship down to Waikerie, and he's going to be definitely an outright contender for that championship moving forward. Former Dalby champ Richard Tazan, he's always thereabouts. He crossed in 4th spot, and he just held off his good mate Davey Lufton, the ever-consistent Honey Badger peddler, and he's one of your favourites, I know, and he finished in 5th, George.
Yeah, I seen a bit of banter on Facebook there the other week.
They give it to each other, eh?
Over Tasson and Lufton, mate. I was having a good old laugh, but ever-consistent David, you said, mate, he knows how to steer that old Honey Badger in the right direction, doesn't he?
He loves it, eh?
Yeah, loves it.
Gets out there and I think he finished 12th or 13th at Hillston, backs it up at Dalby. I'm sure he's going to Burdekin, he'll go to Waikerie. He just loves it. Loves the sport. The highlight of the weekend out at Dalby Jord was the running of the inaugural Class 5 World Titles, which was won by Michael Ranson. He also finished the incredible 7th outright. I know you're very impressed with that as well. You're a Class 5 fan. Class 5
fanatic, mate, and to see one in the top 10, and mate, we pumped his wheels up, and I think it was after Canowindra, but he's an entertainer of the crowd, and he holds that Triton flat.
And a Titan technical track like that. And what did he say? He said he loves the rough and he loves the long straight, so a bit of everything for Michael Ranson. But yeah, it was great to see so many Class 5s out and about, Jord. I know you're pumped with the concept. 6 cars this year. And yeah, I think there'll be plenty more.
I think it's a great thing to see the Class 5s coming back into it. Like for the last probably 5 years here, we've only seen maybe 1 or 2. But
Warwick Rose and a few others.
Yeah, well, back in the day, like when we were kids, you'd see dozens of them. Like that and single-seater cars, there was heaps of them, mate. But great to see Class 5 coming back.
Yeah, they're building on it, that's for sure. Earlier in the week, we were fortunate enough to catch up with the Class 5 World Champion himself, Michael Ranson, so check it out. I'd like to welcome on to Frogs FHTV for the first time the inaugural Class 5 World Titles Champion, Michael Ranson. How are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, Tobes. Yourself?
Good. Firstly, congratulations on winning the first ever Class 5 World Titles over at Dalby last weekend. Tell those at home, mate, how did the Class 5 titles come about?
I think I got sick of going to events where there was only 1 or 2 of us. We just couldn't all get together at the same time. So I don't know. I figured if I organised something a little bit grander than normal, what do they say? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's about right.
And they did. Yeah. 1 or 2 competitors would turn up, and then, I would break, and the next race someone else would turn up, and we just couldn't all be running at the same time. So I gave them about 3 months notice and said everyone's got to be fixed and running all at the same time.
Yeah, get them all there at once. But they ended up 6 Class 5 crews out at Dalby on the weekend. Solid start. So it's something to work moving forward into next year, you reckon?
Oh, definitely. I've had so much interest to do it again. And we would have had 10, but we had like Tyler Human and Snapper. They couldn't organise themselves. They decided to go fishing. They got their dates. They got their dates mixed up, and they went fishing instead. Which they said they regretted it, and they want to come next year. But Matty Gardner had an engine problem, so from Gundy.
Yeah, it's unreal to see so many out and about. Like as you were just saying a minute ago, you normally only see 1 or 2. I think we've only ever seen a couple here at Warrielda, but mate, to see that many, it's unreal.
Yeah, if you look back at the Gundy start list, like in, was it 88 or 1990, they had 15 cars on the start line. So it'd be good to go back to those days again.
And yourself, you had a great run out there, mate. You finished the event 7th outright and took home the Class 5 World Titles on the back of your 9th outright at the Gundy 250 in February. You must be pretty stoked with your season so far.
Yeah, for me, Dalby, the biggest thing at Dalby was it was a really tight track, and there were a lot of four-wheel drives like the Can-Ams and Polarises. They were just so quick to beat.
Yeah.
And to beat the second two-wheel drive over the line, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your Class 5 Triton, mate. You've been campaigning it for a number of years now. What running gear you currently got in it and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I think it's a mid-mounted LS.
Yep.
And it's built by Bluey down in Cunda Park, Total Off-Road. But yeah, it's a 5.7, but with a scat crank and special pistons and rods and 6-litre heads and lots of bits and pieces in it. But it'll rev to like 7.5.
Perfect.
Which is crazy. Inside the car, it just is crazy listening to it.
Yeah.
I just still pinch myself sometimes, but... And then Lunatech transmission, he did a Turbo 400 with a set of gear ratios in it and different drums and billet this and billet that, whatever he said it needed.
I'm always intrigued, how did Michael Ranson get into the sport of off-road racing?
Well, I had kids, so I was doing motocross and then I had kids and went, this is not a good idea. So they say with age comes cage.
Yeah.
So I got stuck into doing a bit of winch challenge and then progressed into a bit of rallying. And then I think sports sedans, a bit of tarmac stuff. I just got a little bit, I don't know, I say bored with an event or a certain type of racing and I just try something new. But I think off-road racing, I don't think I'd ever get bored with that. I've been doing that the longest, 10 years now.
You find yourself in a pretty good position in the Queensland Championship at the minute, Mick. What are your plans moving forward into the middle of the season? Are you heading up to Burdekin or are you saving it for a little bit later in the year? What are your plans?
Yeah, I think I got a little bit too much work on at the moment to go to Burdekin, which I'm really sad about because that North Queensland club, Burdekin Club, put on a really great event. Mm-hmm. That Burdekin track really suits my car too.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Miles event will be the next event, and then just maybe work our way through the calendar as long as the car doesn't let us down.
Be able to stretch the big girl's legs out at Miles there, long course, isn't it?
Yeah, 250k, a little bit of a play on words, the Miles 150, but 150 miles and 250 Ks.
Yeah, right.
It's my car comes into its own in the bigger races. It kind of loves Gundy.
Yeah, yep.
It doesn't mind rough and it doesn't mind high speed.
The results you've been getting, Mick, they're not easy to come by, mate. It's a big team effort. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank for getting you to the finish line last weekend, and how your years have been going so far?
Well, I think majority of our success is in the workshop. We just prep the car, and just those little 1% things that always fail at a track is the things we've been working on this year.
Yep.
And then the other big thing is my navigator. I couldn't do it without him. Old Blakey, he used to sit there and cringe, and he would say, "Oh, I'm not liking this," but he's changed his tune in the last 12 months. Now he's like, "Don't lift."
Loves it.
So yeah, he's been pushing me that little bit extra, which I think is where we found a bit more speed.
Yeah.
And those caps from last weekend, I saw them in some of the Gimpy.
Yeah, we got a heap of caps made. So yeah, we just wanted to make a bit of fun of it and call it the world titles, and yeah.
And you had a few sponsors for that as well, didn't you? A few bit of prize money, a few vouchers.
Yeah. Cole Desborough at the Silver Shop, he was like, I was telling him all about it, and he was like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
This is what off-roading and Class 5 is all about. And then, of course, my business, MR Sheet Metal, we kicked in some.
Yeah.
And, Brent Smoothie.
Oh, yeah.
Brent Smoothie. I met him 10 years ago at Fink, and every year we went back, he was so hospitable. We would always camp with him.
Yeah.
Run with him. Like, he was just such a generous and a nice man. And then, every year I do tease him that every prologue he's always been behind me at Fink. So, and one year there where I got 20th outright at Fink, he was behind me, and I made sure he knew about it. Yeah, so I rang him up and I said, this is what I want to do, and you're going to give me some money for it. And he was like, yeah, whatever.
Happy days.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah, he's not going to get anything out of sponsoring this event other than making the sport go forward. Very generous man. Tony Butler Aviation, another Class 5 that was there on the weekend, 544. When I told him what we were doing, he was like, well, I want to help out too. And again, no one's going to go, well, I need my plane looked at from Butler Aviation. It's not a direct impact on his business, but he just still wanted to help.
Anyways, mate, thanks for your time on Frog Solo TV. It's always great to talk to you. Congratulations on your Class 5 World Title success over at Dalby last weekend, and good luck to you and the team for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Tobe. Thanks, Jord.
See you, mate.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, cheers.
Class 5 World Champion, Michael Ranson. Thanks, Michael. Great to have you on the show, mate. Awesome initiative out there at Dalby, and all the best to you and your team for the rest of 2026. Other class winners, Jord, at the Dalby Short Course included Tommy Darlington. He took home the ultimate win. Amy Van, great to see her back in a Class 2. Darren Foxcroft, I think he's a newcomer to the sport. He took home Class 6 honours.
Yep.
Anna Phyllis was the first lady home and Class 6S champion. Jamie Chalacombe took home Class 8. Benny Power pipped his daughter Piper for Class 10 honours. Peter Makem, first run-up at Dalby in Class 11. He saluted there. And young Jack Musico, the future champion at the Dalby Short Course, he held off Cameron Krog there for honours. Queensland crews now turn their attention to next weekend's Burdekin Enduro in North Queensland. We'll bring you more of that on the next show. Now on to our final review for tonight. Last weekend's St Helens Sprint, round 1 of the 2026 Tasmanian Aurora Championship, held down at Perrin Dunes near St Helens. And it was Kurt Wiley and Jack Donahoe in their Polaris Pro R who took the win, holding off his father Andrew Wiley, also in a Pro R, and Tasmanian off-road legend Hayden Tatnell and his brother Justin finished third, I think in their single-seater Rivmaster. They shared the duties. It was great to see Kurt enter the winner's circle down there, Jord. I believe it's just his second year racing as well in his Pro R, which is super impressive. But honestly, how picturesque is that place? I mean, it looks unreal, racing along the coastline. The footage that was sent in from club members down there at the St Helens Sprint, you could just watch it all day.
I honestly don't think, from a spectator point of view, that they'd be anywhere better to watch it than up on one of them dunes watching race along the beach line.
Unreal, eh?
Waves crashing in the background, buggies racing towards you. How good would it be?
We've got a few of those sort of beach sand dune tracks in Australia now down on the coast, but there's something about St Helens, and yeah, it's definitely one of those races, if you can make it happen and get to, definitely on the bucket list. 4K track, I think they run it in reverse to the event they have there in November. Geez, a chop out 40 laps over a 4K track in that sand.
Mate, she'd be choppy in that soft sand.
Also, hats off to our class winners, Hayden and Justin Tatnell, Michael Stalker, Kurt Wiley and David Shepherd, who we'll see some in-car of during the episode. So yeah, hats off to everyone that took part at the St Helens Sprint. The Tasmanian off-road community now turn their attention to round 2 of the season, held on Saturday the 23rd of May. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Jord, we started something a little bit different this year as well with our Frogs Hollow TV tipping segment. I'd just like to give a shout out to our first couple of winners from Hillston. Davey Luffman competed and also took home the chocolates in the tipping comp. And then Ross Smith from down there, the Griffith Off-Road Club, took home the win for the recent Pooncarie Desert Dash. It was a bit tough, but he did share the post, so it got him home in the end.
Yeah, she's been tough tipping the last couple. Like even the first round, they were tied and Davey shared it, so he won it. And then last week, like Ross shared it, so he's come home with them too. So just remember to share it.
Yeah, the key to the discussion is share the post, get those couple of points. Last weekend was a big one, Jord, with 5 great events across the country. We'll bring you full insights from Darren's Day Out in the Northern Territory titles round 1 on our next show, along with full previews of the Perilla Enduro, the Burdekin Enduro and the Moyston Short Course, which is coming up next weekend. So that's a wrap on tonight's show, Jord. Thanks for joining me. Always a pleasure, mate. Congratulations to all our recent winners and finishers from last weekend, but more importantly, stay tuned for the next episode of Frogs Hollow TV. Cheerio.